How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to ZeroPen. My name's Jonathan, and today we're going to be covering how to subsidize your business using work platforms such as GRUBHUB, INSTACART, POSTMATES, DOORDASH, SHIPT, Turo, FieldNation, Rover, Handy, you name it. We're about to cover all these platforms today, give you a quick breakdown of them, and let's get into it. So first thing I want to make very apparent, I absolutely in no way represent any of the companies that I'm mentioning here today. I by no means have any consent to talk about them as a representative, so don't take my word as marketing. This is purely all of my experiences. I'm purely just trying to give advice on how to help people make more money using these platforms. So let's cover the first one, GRUBHUB. This one also kind of works with DoorDash and a little bit with Postmates, but Postmates is a little different, so I'll cover that one separately. First, GRUBHUB, DoorDash. Know that you should probably be signing up for every platform you possibly can. Now keep in mind, there are platforms that charge you fees to become members of them. Don't use them. Personally, I find them to be a complete scam, just overall garbage that is trying to get a quick buck out of you. And yeah, sure, you could in theory make your money back, but the effort is not worth it. These are not the platforms that I want to talk about. I don't use them. I don't endorse them. If they are saying you have to pay to be able to be accepted on the platform, or run the background check just to be allowed on the platform, anything like that, if they're too cheap to just get you onboarded on their own volition, then as far as I'm concerned, they're not going to care about you and your bottom line, so you shouldn't care to work for them. So the first two companies that we're covering are going to be GRUBHUB and DoorDash. The way to make extra money off of those is simple. You just only use them whenever there's promos going, or you use prime times. This is going to vary per area. For me, prime times are early morning and very late night, because everyone wants to work in that middle area of the day. However, if you decide you want to work early in the morning or late at night and you just sign on, more than likely you're going to be able to get assignments and you'll be able to work. Now, the only time I work on these platforms is if I have absolutely no contracts for whatever reason, or I finish my contracts for the day early. That being said, I personally don't use either of them unless there are promos going on. Now, this varies depending on if you even have them in your area, but in my area, very often on those peak times, I'll get notices on my phone after I've signed up and worked for them for a few days, and so they see that I'm actually, a valid employee. I've gotten a paycheck or two. They'll send me messages on my phone saying, hey, we are slammed right now. We'll pay you an extra $2 to $5 per order just to get out there and drive some deliveries for us. In situations like that, you can usually get pretty decent tips so long as you're moving quickly and you're actually getting that bonus on top of that. So I'll absolutely recommend doing work for them so long as there's a promo going and you feel like doing that sort of work. Next one is going to be Postmates. Postmates can make you some pretty good money so long as you're doing it whenever there's promos, such as a guaranteed $500 for working a weekend and you have to do 30 deliveries in that weekend. That doesn't sound like much. Whenever you actually break it down, you can pull off those deliveries in one solid work day between the 2 days, and then bam, you have $500 for very minimal work doing an easy job. Now, unless I have a promo, I never work really for any of those three companies that I just mentioned. And that also includes the next two that I'm going to cover, which are SHIPT and INSTACART. I only work for these two during absolute peak times, or if they alert me to a bonus. If they let me know, hey, we'll give you an extra $20 if you just run and do this quick job. I have made, without exaggeration, $75 for doing a single grocery order. It is absolutely worth your time to check over SHIPT, say, hey, I've got a promo. It's $50 just to run and do a delivery only, which means you don't even have to do the shopping for those. All you're doing is running to the store, picking up bags, running them over to the customer's house. Here you go, bye. And you can make very good money doing that. My peak week where I was doing SHIPT promos, only promos, I do not do regular work for SHIPT or Instacart. I made about $650 on top of my normal work week, just because it happened to be a week where promos were popping up left and right, and I was like, sure, why not? It's an extra $50 just to go drop this off, to go drop that off. If you look at the grand scheme of things and say, oh, I normally make $60 an hour, I'm not going to take this $30 order. If you add all those together, especially if you stack them, like there's been plenty of times where I've gone in there and again, you have to have some reputation with these companies before they let you do this. I think for SHIPT, you have to work for them for 30 days before they'll let you take more than one order. Once you get past that barrier, I've had 3 or 4 orders at the same time, all with promo, which means I just knocked out like $200 right then and there with one trip. That's pretty good money. So don't go out there just looking at that one order. Look and see if you can do multiple. Keep in mind that more might pop up while you're out there. I've had tons of times where the second I'm done with one, another giant promo pops up and I go knock that one out. Sure, it's unexpected work. A lot of people may not like having to jump off their couch last second to go out and drive and work. But if you're looking to maximize your profits, that is an incredible way to do so. I guarantee you it is easy work. It is very easy work. And with my experiences, I've always had the best customer service whenever I'm at any of the grocery stores. They know that I'm SHIPT and I'm like, hey, I'm in a rush. I'm trying to knock out this order in 5 minutes so that I can maximize how much money I'm making per hour. Can you tell me where these couple items are? Because I'm not familiar with them. Almost every single time I've had the people walk me directly to the item and actually say, hey, here you go. Anything else that I can help you find for this order? It's actually amazing how good of care they take care of you, so long as they know that you're actually a professional shopper. They take great care of you. Maybe it is different where you live, but here I've been taken care of very well by all the different grocery chains out here whenever I'm doing SHIPT. Now, most of you know that I do WORKMARKET as my primary platform. The reason for this is because I make the most money off of WORKMARKET. It's pretty self-explanatory. Why don't I use FieldNation then? I do use FieldNation, let me make that clear. I am signed up for just about any gig work, any work platform that you can imagine. I am signed up for, and I will utilize it if it is worth my time. So with that, yes, I will do work on FieldNation. However, not if work is available on WORKMARKET. I will always prioritize my WORKMARKET profile over FieldNation. Reason being, from everything I've seen, I make about half as much on FieldNation as I do on WORKMARKET. First off, they actually charge you a fee, not the company who has the contract. You have to pay a fee for every single work order of 10%. So that means you make $200, guess what? They're taking 20 of that. That may not sound like a whole lot. It adds up very, very quickly. Imagine if your taxes went up 10%. You probably flip out. That's exactly the case on FieldNation. Right off the bat, you're automatically getting charged 10% more. For those of you who saw my video on how to make more money on WORKMARKET, I said do not dare use fast funds unless you absolutely have to, because that's 3% pay that you're losing. Multiply that by 3. That's just the start on FieldNation. And then there's also a mandatory insurance fee of 1.2% if you don't have an insurance provider that they approve of, or you don't have one, period. So that is off the bat, that is 12% of every work order that you're losing immediately on FieldNation. Now, aside from those fees, I am 100% positive, putting them side by side, companies that post on both, I have always seen the WORKMARKET one be a higher price. With my experience on FieldNation, they have paid a minimum of 30% less. And then you're getting that 12%, which means right off the bat, you're almost making 42% less. On top of that, companies on there, again, maybe it's just because I'm not on there as much as WORKMARKET compared to other techs, or I don't know the exact reason, but I know whenever I demand travel, because as I've said before, I always get travel in every single work order that I do. Whenever I put my travel expense on FieldNation, I don't get a job. I have gotten jobs on there without travel, and I'll only take those if I happen to be in the area because I'm not willing to lose money on work. But for whatever reason, even if it's the same company posting on both platforms, they seem to be much more inclined to pay significantly less, give you much less wiggle room on FieldNation versus WORKMARKET. Maybe that's different where you are, but from my experience, from what I have personally seen, that is the case. So, yes, I will do FieldNation as a way to subsidize my normal work with WORKMARKET. However, I will not do it as a primary. It does not make any financial sense for me. All right, moving on. Do you happen to like animals? If you do, there is actually a work platform called Rover. You basically can sign up there to board animals, meaning you let them stay with you whenever the owner is on vacation or they need to go on a trip, whatever have you. So you can board animals, you can go walk animals, you can house sit for people because they have animals. If you are an animal person and you would like nothing more than to be able to make some extra money working with animals, check out Rover. I haven't really done anything on there. I am signed up, but it just wasn't for me in my area workflow-wise. So that's why I didn't end up using it. But if you want to make extra money, the rates that I saw on there, at least whenever I signed up a couple years ago, seemed very fair. Again, I have no experience on the platform, but from what I had seen, it seemed like people were able to make quite a bit of money, especially if you're stacking jobs, like you're walking multiple dogs at the same time for a rate. People seem to be making very good money on it. Very fair money, if nothing else. So if you like animals, you don't have any jobs for a day, you can always check that out. And also with Rover, it seems like work that once you get that contract, so long as you do a good job, you're gonna have that good job for a good while. I saw a lot of work on there that it was people who needed their dog walked every day while they're at work at noon or whatever time. So if you end up on there as their regular dog walker and you just keep on building more clients, that's just a loyal pay program right to you. So there's a suggestion for all you animal lovers out there. For any of you guys out there who happen to have a nice car that you don't mind people driving, assuming they're properly insured and are paying you to do so, Turo is probably the app for you. It is a platform where you can rent out your car for the day, for the week, for the month. If you have a secondary vehicle, this is amazing because then you can just use your second vehicle and you can charge whatever you want for your vehicle. Obviously, the people have to be willing to pay it, but so long as you have a decent vehicle. I know I paid roughly $300 whenever I was down in Miami just for a minivan for a few days, and it was really worthwhile. It beat the hassle of rental services hands down. My host was amazing, drove to the airport, picked me up. He had me drop him off at a major thoroughfare so that he could catch a cab, but in between there, he told me every single in and out of the vehicle. Whenever it was time for me to leave, he met me at that same interfere and then drove me to the port and dropped me off where I needed to be for no extra charge. I don't know about anyone else's experiences, but on mine, my experiences with Turo have been amazing. If you want to make money off your car and you don't mind doing little things just to make somebody's experience better, keep in mind you can charge for cleaning whenever you use Turo, which this person did. You can charge for any tolls, fees. You can make the pay what you need to make it for it to be worth your while. So if you have that second vehicle and it's worth your time, I would absolutely recommend doing that. Last platform that I'm going to mention really quick is Handy. Personally, I've had a terrible experience with them. My background check with them came back flagged for some reason. Obviously, my background is fine. I have a clear background on WORKMARKET, on Field Nation, on all of my other apps that I use. So for some reason, it came back bad with them, and they've refused to let me work. Now, I did have a job offer that I found to be extremely competitive. It was $75 to clean a single room really quick. From what I saw for the 5 minutes that I was on the platform, it was actually very good pay. But unfortunately, a day or two before that job was supposed to be performed, as I said, my background check came back as flagged. They wouldn't talk to me about it at all. I haven't really tried to get back with it because frankly, I make plenty enough. That was just supposed to be a side gig. I have seen them advertise. I have seen, as I said, whenever I was on there, I did see some very well-paying jobs, but that's if you can get on it. Maybe it was just my experience. You guys tell me in the comments below any experience with any platform where they came back and flagged you for no apparent reason. But that was my experience with them. If you don't mind doing cleaning, basic housekeeping, basic handiwork, that is a platform for you, by all means. As I said, from the rates I saw, they were very fair. Things could have changed in the last couple of years though, so bear that in mind. Now, biggest thing for any of the platforms that we've mentioned so far today, I didn't bother covering Uber and Lyft because let's face it, they've been covered a million times over. They should be included, but you know what they are. You drive around people as a taxi basically, and unless you're in a promo area, you're really not making that much money. I didn't mind Lyft actually whenever I was doing it. I found it to be kind of fun, and I would just go out into the parking lot and watch movies, and then whenever I would get a drive click it on, go drive somebody, have a fun conversation, then I go back to watching my movie. If you don't mind sitting around in your vehicle with some dead time, those could actually be beneficial. I'm not a big fan of Uber because of their business practices, but with Lyft, I actually did have a really good time. I liked driving for them. I've had plenty of good experiences whenever I've traveled and had to use other Lyfts. So I will endorse Lyft if you just want to have some free time taken care of and make a little bit of extra money on the side. Getting back on topic, all of these platforms have one thing in common, and that is the need to be flexible. I'm basing my subsidy on you having your own full-time job, whether it be WORKMARKET or whatever job you're employed in. And the biggest thing is that you just have to be flexible. You can't go into this thinking that you're just going to do a job every once in a while and it's going to make a huge difference. I'm not saying to take only jobs every once in a while if that's all you can do. You have to realize that these, I found, are best as subsidies. They help you improve your income while you have a primary income. They're not really going to be something that you can make a full-time living off of, especially the ones where you have to do a lot of driving and your actual pay per hour isn't all that great. My average pay on GRUBHUB was only about $35 an hour. Same with DOORDASH. With INSTACART, I think I was up to about $40 an hour. With SHIPT, if I'm not doing promos, they actually pay terribly. I found my pay rate to only be minimum wage with them. After you factor in fuel with all these, obviously it's a little less. So personally, I stick with WORKMARKET. That works for me. You can stick with your W-2 job, your business, whatever. But if you just want to make some extra money on the side, I would absolutely endorse doing any of these or all of these like I do. They can give you some extra added money in your wallet when you need it. Or if you're a workaholic and you can only do so many contracts on WORKMARKET, Field Nation, whatever, and you just want to keep working, it's a great way to keep working all day long. And yes, I've absolutely gone weeks where I've worked all day, every day, made plenty of money to be able to take weeks off at a time. But overall, in my personal opinion, I find all of these platforms that I mentioned today, except for WORKMARKET, to pretty much be subsidies. I don't see you making a full-time living off of them. SHIPT, maybe if for some reason you happen to only get promos every single day, you're the only shopper in that whole area or something, then sure. I mean, I've made $650 a week off of theirs with promos before, but I just don't see that happening anywhere where you're only getting promos every single day, all day. So be flexible. If you're off of work and you're really hurting for money, or you just want to make more money and that promo pops up on your phone, don't be lazy. Take the money while it's there. You can't expect to make money using these platforms if you're expecting them to work for you. It won't happen. These companies genuinely do not care about you as an employee because you're not an employee. You are a contractor according to all of them. So make sure whenever they offer that bonus, you jump out there and you take it. Whenever you want to watch a movie, why not watch it in your car whenever you're out parked in town ready to pick up a fare and pause the movie in between fares? With all of these, it's just important to be flexible, even if that definition's a little vague here. But that's how you're going to make that extra money off of them, is being flexible and using them to augment your primary job. I feel like this should go without saying, but if you're like me and you do have all of these apps, make sure that you're not getting comfortable with one and ignoring the others. Do what everyone is paying best. For me, there's been days where I've only done GRUBHUB. There's been days where I do all of the platforms. There's been days where I only do DOORDASH, where I only do SHIPT, where I've only done INSTACART. I've done all of these platforms in varying amounts per day, per month, purely based on pay. So just make sure that you're going where the money is. Don't do what is just comfortable because you won't be making that extra money. You need to leverage these platforms to suit your income, not so that you can just be out there wasting your time making minimum wage. You need to maximize your money if you're using these platforms, which you can absolutely do. It is not that difficult. Look on it. Okay, there's promos on SHIPT. Whoa, I just got a text saying that there's an extra $5 per order on GRUBHUB versus DOORDASH, or vice versa. Or, once in a while, I've had it on all the platforms where all of them are slammed. In that case, I'll still do the same thing. Oh, it's a delivery only on SHIPT for $30 right next to me, or an extra $5 for GRUBHUB guaranteed for 3 hours. I'll take the SHIPT, and then I'll jump on GRUBHUB if I manage to get it done on time, because that's guaranteed income right then and there. There have been times where I've been on the food delivery platforms like GRUBHUB, DOORDASH, POSTMATES. They said, hey, we'll pay you an extra $5 per order. So I was like, okay, I head to town. I'm out there for an hour, not a single order. All of this is of course dependent on how many people are out there at the time, where you live, order density, all that sort of stuff. So I would take guaranteed higher money over, okay, I could possibly make a little extra money here. I'd probably just take that shift. And if they're really that busy on GRUBHUB, that promo is gonna stay there anyway. Final thing for this video is inclement weather. Nobody likes working in it, but if you don't mind it, if you force yourself to get out there, do those deliveries in the blizzard, do those deliveries in the rainstorm, you are gonna make extra money. I guarantee you that. The first year that I was on all of these platforms, I remember it was a blizzard and no one was on the road. There wasn't a single car on the road whenever I was driving but me. And I was making $70 per order, just dropping off deliveries to people. And I did that for maybe 4 or 5 hours. It was just a game changer whenever I realized just how much people hate driving in the snow or rain. And with that said, if you are not competent, comfortable, or feel safe about driving in the rain or snow, don't do it. Don't risk your safety to make an extra buck. I'm talking to those who feel comfortable, have the vehicle appropriate for, and don't mind driving in rain and snow. So again, safety first. Don't go out there if you feel like you're at risk. But if you don't mind, you will make extra money. Pay attention to those apps on those days where it's just terrible weather, where it's a giant blizzard and no one's out driving. I have made so much money whenever it comes to those days. My work market contracts tend to be the lowest during the snowy season here, so it works out perfectly for me. I pay more attention to my phone and okay, whoop, I got a promo, the weather sucks, let's get out there. So long as you're competent enough to do it, push through that discomfort of, well, I really don't feel like being out and getting wet today because I'm so warm in bed right now. Push past that, make your extra money while you can. Take that extra downtime in the summer or whenever you want to do a vacation. But flexibility, working in conditions that people don't want to work in, is how you're going to be able to subsidize using these work platforms. Thank you everyone for sticking around. I really do appreciate you guys coming back. Please like this video if you learned anything, got any good ideas. Comment below any videos that you want me to do. Please do also subscribe down below. Share this video with anyone who needs thoughts for how to get into work, start their own business, is looking for work and just can't do it. By all means, share this video with them, have them subscribe. I'll have links below for Amazon Prime like I always do, including a very, very convenient car mount that I use whenever I'm doing gig work. The best car mount I've ever used. It wirelessly charges your phone while it's in it, and it's just a tap and it releases it so that you can just run out of your car, do the delivery, drop it back in, it automatically clamps your phone back and charges. It's great for gig work. So I'll have that linked below. My Patreon, which is patreon.com/ZeroPenLogistics, will also be listed below. So if you want to help me pay for this camera equipment for doing these videos, by all means, feel free to donate. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks again for stopping by. Take care.